Hi, I'm Roman.
And I'm Caitlin,
I'm not a big Disney fan,
and I am. And
and together
together,
we're
we're going to
gonna have
have
a
a
hundred
hundred
Disney
Disney adventures
adventures
of
of
a
a lifetime.
lifetime. On today's episode, we'll be talking about your favorite and my favorite tour that we've ever done together, the Keys to the Kingdom tour.
I have PTSD just thinking about it.
Okay, so for the listeners out there who may not know,
The lucky ones.
The Keys to the Kingdom tour is a 5-hour behind the scenes tour at Magic Kingdom. So it is for adults, and the price does not include your ticket to the park. So at 5 hours and a price that we'll discuss later, it does take up the majority of your day.
All of your day, and you will be feeling it afterwards.
Okay, so let's talk about what this tour. So, the website says that it is an in-depth,
Very.
yeah, 5-hour look at the most iconic theme park at Walt Disney World Resort. Magic Kingdom to the max. Unlock the fascinating history of Magic Kingdom Park and gain backstage access to legendary hidden areas. This 5-hour tour explores the creation and remarkable growth of one of the most beloved parks at Walt Disney World. Explore the secret locations you've always wondered about and get the inside scoop on some of your favorite attractions. During the tour, you will uncover hidden secrets of classic attractions at Magic Kingdom Park, access the famed underground utilidor tunnels that allow people and supplies to travel beneath the park unseen. I know you'll have a lot to say
I have
about
a
that.
lot to say.
Discover little known facts, trivia, and other exciting tidbits about the park. Enjoy a delicious lunch included with your tour, so you do get something free, and take home an exclusive keepsake.
Yeah, they
Let's
can keep
see.
it.
And let's see. Guest accessible areas of Magic Kingdom are actually on the second floor of a massive structure, the tunnel below known as the Utilidors. And then it just talks about how you're going to learn more about Walt Disney. Know before you go. Again, it says that theme park admission is required but not included in the price of this tour. Guests must make their own theme park reservations. Disney's Key to the Kingdom tour is an outdoor walking tour. Check the weather forecast and dress appropriately. Advance reservations are highly recommended. Same day reservations can be made on a limited basis and are subject to availabilities. No cameras, video equipment, or mobile phones may be used throughout the duration of the tour. Locations and attractions visited on the tour are subject to change. Guests must be 16 years or older, and that's pretty much it.
What they don't tell you is that you will be walking a full marathon. I think we did 3 or 4 laps around the park through this tour. And if you are like the average American who I just found out takes what, less than 6,000 steps per day, you will feel this the next day. I remember the day after we did the tour, I usually take more than 6,000 steps per day. And the day after the tour, we were still, both you and I were crippled. We were, we sat in the hot tub all day, we soaked our feet, and you were over the moon with joy, and I was just trying to recover from the tour.
Well, in case of you guys didn't guess, we both have two very different takeaways of this tour that we took.
Hmm.
And we took ours in like mid-October.
Right.
So it was not the hottest
Plan
season.
to do it in fall or early
Yeah.
spring. Do
Yeah.
not do it in the dead of summer because you will
Yes.
not make it.
Yeah. And there are several tours that start throughout the day. So the first one I think is at 8 in the morning, the second one is at 8:30, and then I think that they go until like 9:30 in the morning.
Hmm.
But what it is so when you enter in the park, then you go to the
You go
Main
to like
Street
the guest
Theater.
services.
Yeah.
So from okay, let's give a quick timeline of the tour and then we'll break down into each part.
Okay.
So you go to the guest services that looks like an old mayor's like town hall type building,
Yeah.
and they give you these headsets so that the tour guide can speak directly to you
Mhm.
because I think it was a group of maybe 20 of us, maybe less.
I always think he was closer to like 12 or
Yeah,
15
there was more
maybe.
than 10 people, but not too much more
Yeah.
than 10 people.
It wasn't super
Right.
overwhelming.
Yeah, and you get your tour guide, and I don't remember her name unfortunately, but she was pretty funny. I liked her.
Yeah, she was a great cast
Yeah.
member.
Sorry, cast member. Or do we not call them tour guides?
No.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, we got our cast member, and so then first you go down Main Street, and she talks about the windows. I
Wait, hold
remember.
on. I'm so sorry. Before you do that,
Yeah.
so you check into that first place and
Right.
then you go to the Main Street Theater.
Okay.
And then that's when you like meet up with your party. And at that point, they'll give you like a bottle of water, I
Yeah.
want to say.
For your troubles.
And then they also, don't you order your food then?
Yeah, so you get a bottle of water and they give you the menus. Now you order what you want on the menu and you give it back to them for a later
Yeah,
date.
for a
Yeah.
later time,
Yes.
for hours later in your tour.
Much hours
Yeah.
later. When you
And
forgot about food, they bring it back to you.
And what didn't we was it Pico's Bills or Pico's,
It was the Western themed.
but it was like we had like Mexican
It was
food or
yeah.
that type of
You
thing.
were like eating. It was next to the not Magic Mountain, the wooden roller coaster. Is it wooden? Big
Oh,
Thunder Mountain?
Thunder Mountain.
Thunder
Yeah.
Mountain. Whatever the restaurant is right next to Thunder Mountain.
I think it was Pico Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the food was all right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then you do all that and then you start your tour with
Yes.
your tour guide
So you
on
go
Main
down
Street.
Main Street.
Yeah.
She tells you about the windows. After the windows, you go to the main hub and she tells you about the secret hotel room.
Mhm.
After that, we go to the Jungle Cruise, I believe.
Oh yeah, so that is another interest. So we actually rode I think 3
We
or
did Jungle
4
Cruise, we did Haunted
Haunted
Mansion,
Mansion.
and I feel like we did something else, but I can't
Me
remember what
too.
else.
Yeah, we got to do a couple of rides, and what was neat is that we got to skip the line completely.
Yeah.
So they just went to like the front of the line, and
hmm
she also like held all of her bags for
Yeah,
us,
that
which
was
was
really
really
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
hmm So then after Jungle Cruise, we walked around some more. Can't remember what did we do after Jungle Cruise. We talked more
Well,
about
we
like the
went to like Liberty
Liberty
Square
Square.
Tavern. We
Yes.
talked about the how the ground is supposed to look like poop.
Yeah.
And then, oh, we talked about how close all the trash cans are.
hmm
They're every like
Yeah.
20 feet apart.
And then
It's the amount of time that it took Walt to eat a hot dog
yeah.
and then throw away the trash.
Yes. And then so after that, I think after that is when we went into the back, right?
Yeah, so a lot of the tour takes place behind stage.
hmm
So for the average listener, so
The lucky few.
all of Magic Kingdom is considered to be a stage, an
hmm
active stage that you are a part of. You're part of the story, you're part of, this entertainment that you have. And then all the behind the scenes area is backstage.
Right.
And again, that ties into the fact that all of the workers there, they're cast members. They're
hmm
not employees. They're not, whatever like other names that they have. They're cast members.
Yes.
So you do go, and that was kind of cool to see as well. Is like the
hmm
behind the stage
Right.
areas where they have a lot of when we went they were making the floats for the Christmas party.
They were preparing for that. And then we also saw there was like the ice skating practice,
Yeah,
but
they
they
were
were on rollerblades, which was pretty cool.
and I do remember that part of the parade. It's like the skiers,
Mm,
and so they were practicing that, which was really cool to
yeah.
see. And then again, seeing them prepare like the floats, and
hmm
we didn't really see like the costumes, I don't think
No.
as much, but it was more so just like
Right.
the modes of
hmm
transportation and the people preparing that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah. So after that, then we went downstairs into like the animation room, which
Oh
was really
yeah.
cool. And then after that, we saw the cool big green doors,
The
which is apparently like
utilidors.
a wonder of imagination, and people lose their minds over these doors.
Okay, so those, you know, I I have heard about the utilidors, and in fact, I remember watching like a news special on the utilidors back in
Hmm.
like the mid 90s, early 2000s, and learning that that's how they like transported trash so that you
Hmm.
wouldn't be taken out of like the magical world of the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
And so for me, it was beyond a dream come true.
Yes.
Knowing that I could go and walk through the tunnels where the characters go through and the secret subway and all like as in Subway the food place.
Yes.
There's like a
Yes.
secret subway down
Yes.
there.
Hmm.
Um I and all the pictures, like seeing all the history of the Magic Kingdom, which is really the utilidors are the first floor
Right.
of Magic Kingdom, and then everything that you see on your normal average viewing space is all on the second floor.
What do you think is harder to get a job at? The subway below Disney or the Taco Bell inside the Pentagon?
Ah. Probably Disney.
I would probably say Disney. There's
I
so
yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
but
even got to see like a princess
hmm,
getting ready to do her stage
right.
show, and so that was
Yeah.
really cool. And like a bunch of workers and
Cast members.
cast members that were just doing like day-to-day
Yeah.
tasks.
So okay, so after Utilidors, what did we see? I think that might have been the end.
That was towards the end, but we went to the like the section near the castle, and we
Hmm.
were able to see
Oh, right.
where
Behind the
Tinkerbell,
castle or something. Yeah.
yeah, where Tinkerbell takes her flight.
So yeah,
Um,
we saw a lot. So let's start back at the beginning.
yeah.
So Main Street, we look at the windows. Now, in all the windows, one of the fun facts of the tour is that all the names on the windows are like important people to the
Yeah.
company, I believe.
Hmm.
I don't remember any of their names, but all the people who helped Disney become Disney have a name or have like a title on a window, right?
Yeah. So they have one that's obviously dedicated to Walt, and then they have a section that is specifically dedicated to Roy Disney. And then they have some like kind of inside jokes because it has the name of what the original property was called. So when Walt Disney was buying a property in the Orlando area, he bought it under a different company's name because he didn't want the people to realize that they were going to be
Selling to Disney. And
making another Disney
yeah.
park after the success of Disneyland.
Hmm.
So I forgot the name of the company now,
Yeah.
but they have that in one of the windows. And then again, just a lot of like Imagineers
Hmm.
from
Yeah.
years.
So I would say it's definitely a nice nod to those people, especially if you're related somehow loosely to any of those people. Like your name's in Disney, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I never even knew that there was names on those windows until it was pointed out to me. So I guess the average non-Disney superfan probably doesn't even know that there's names up there, and
Okay.
definitely doesn't know what they're for.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, as a Disney fan, I knew some of them. I did not
Hmm.
know all the names,
Yeah.
but I think that no matter what level of Disney fan you are or not Disney fan, then there is a special like a takeaway. So some of the like things that she talked about, like I definitely had already heard before,
Hmm.
but I was probably like the most Disney.
You were the number one. Didn't you have on that blue Disney 100 dress that
I
day?
did, yeah.
Yes, the limited run dress or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was deep in the lore, and she kept
Yeah.
on asking questions thinking that people wouldn't know the answer,
And
and
you were the
I knew the
teacher's pet.
answer.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
was like, "Mhm, me, I know."
Yes.
But then like just seeing the different parts that you definitely take away a different part of Main Street USA
Hmm.
when you hear the perspective from all the
Right.
different
Oh, and
what went into it. Like that section that we went into where you can hear the singing, the voice
mhm.
lessons,
Yeah,
and you can hear the voices from the windows.
yeah,
Like that's really cool.
yeah.
And
So,
then the forced perspective of making the castle look so large. I mean, again, most people already know that,
mhm.
but it's still cool to see, how everything is tilted in
Yeah,
slightly.
I was gonna say one of the cool things that I thought was interesting was that the road isn't actually straight.
Mhm.
It it's kind of like a cone.
Yeah.
And so when you first come in, you're at the widest part of the road.
Right.
And then when you're at the end of the like cobbles and getting ready to be on the castle hub area,
Yeah.
it's actually narrower
Mhm.
to funnel you straight through. And then all the shops on the sides or whatever have theming to them. And like you said, there's the lessons that you can hear if you get close to the windows and stuff. So that's pretty interesting. And the smells. She
Yeah.
said there was like special smells that they put in the air
Yeah.
to get you, I guess, in the spirit of
Yeah.
Main Street. So
Vanilla.
yeah.
Yeah. And just, you get to see some of the details that they put in to make it look like Main Street USA
Hmm.
from Walt's youth in
Yeah.
Marceline, Mississippi,
Yeah.
Missouri. So, seeing all of those little details that they worked so, like, probably endless amount of research and detail that they had to put into all this, but it really does show you how much love and care was
Right.
put into the park.
Yeah.
And even just the fact that it's the, wheel and spoke
Hmm.
type of model for the park. I mean, the flow of people, because again, thousands and thousands of people are going through this park every day. And yeah, there are times where there is congestion and it feels crowded, but it was a masterpiece in and of itself of just figuring out a way to kind of funnel people in through all the different parts of the
Hmm.
park. So that
Yeah.
was really interesting to see.
Yeah. And then I didn't she mention like they made it so that you can't sit too many places so that there doesn't get congestion. I think I remember hearing something about like how they keep people moving through the parks.
I don't know because I do feel like in general there's a good amount of
There's a good amount of
places.
seating, but there's not too much because if
Yeah, I
there's
don't
too much,
remember.
then like people get bunched up. But okay, so after Main Street, we went to the ride.
Yeah, I can't remember now like which one. I want to say that we walked through like I think we did Jungle Cruise
Yeah.
first. And we kind of talked about what went into
Mm-hmm.
making Jungle Cruise and just the different
All
details in
right.
there.
Which was fun, and we went behind the waterfall, which is a big deal to
Mhm.
Disney people.
Mhm.
I liked Jungle Cruise. It's a nice. I like any boats. I like to sit on a boat.
Yeah.
So Jungle Cruise, ferry, the river boat,
Yeah.
even the boat that goes across the Disney Lake. Any kind of boat you got me on, I'm there.
Yeah.
So I like that part. After that was what came after the Jungle Cruise.
So yeah, I think we're talking about some of the plants and again the theming that goes into each different land
Mm-hmm.
in Magic Kingdom and then the gradual change in between, for example, like Adventureland to um Frontierland,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like, just going through how the change of the buildings looks different from one to the other.
Right.
So, I think that there was
Mm-hmm.
just a lot I didn't know. With saying all of that, it is still hot outside, even though
Yes.
we went in October. It is hot, it is sunny,
Yes.
and then you're still walking around in the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're standing in the sun.
Yeah. There's only one time that okay, so outside of the rides and then lunch, you're on your feet the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get ready for that. Wear some gel insoles, get a knee brace, an ankle brace. Prepare yourselves.
Yeah, yeah, and then in your room, make sure that you have, like, a foot bath
Mm-hmm.
or a spa day planned for the next
Something. Yes.
day,
The
a
next
hot
day is
tub.
not a park day. The next
Yeah,
day is a relaxation and recuperation day for sure.
yeah, I wanna say that we walked, like, 30,000 steps that
Yeah.
day, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly, and, again, you're hot and you're not the most comfortable, and then you have water, but you don't wanna drink too much water because then every time somebody in your party has to pee, then you have to
The
stop and
whole
go to the
tour stops.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're waiting in line for the bathroom and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, for a fan like me, I was infatuated,
Yes.
and I was just blown away by
Mhm.
all of these things. And again, being in a situation where you're with other like-minded individuals who are passionate about Disney,
Mhm.
and you can ask all the questions that you want to ask.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to
Yeah.
me that aspect was really great.
Mhm.
And then so eventually then we have lunch
Right. I do
and
wanna say,
hmm,
before lunch, I think we went to the Liberty Square,
oh yeah.
and she was talking about one of the trees there has been there since Disney
Oh,
started. Like,
yeah.
the main tree in Liberty Square is the original tree that was first planted there, and the gardeners are, like,
Mhm.
hand selected to be able to come in and take care of these plants because they have to be just so.
Yeah.
So if you ever want a super unique job, become a Disney gardener.
Yeah.
If you get to work in the Liberty Square, that's, like, a big deal apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, like, yeah, the 13 lanterns to
Mhm.
represent the 13 colonies.
Right.
So, again, just the amount of detail that goes into the park and keeping it looking spectacular every day.
Mhm.
They talked on Main Street, they also talked about the flags that are
Yeah.
on and there's only one flag in all of Magic Kingdom that
Mhm.
has all 50 stars on it.
Right.
Every other flag has like 48 or something
Mhm.
like that, so
Yeah.
that they don't have to take it down
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool, and then, of course, like you said, we had lunch, which was it was good. It was okay, the
It was
lunch
all right.
lunch is good because at this point, you're starving, you're suffering, you haven't sat down, your feet hurt, and you're thirsty. So
Yeah.
it's like you're in the desert and you get an oasis, you get some air conditioning, you get some prepackaged sandwiches, a bag of Lay's potato chips, and a drink, and you just get to relax a little bit. So I would say out of all the lunches I've had, it's one of the best lunches I've ever had in my life, just because I was wiped out by this point. We were only half done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do stop and have your lunch midway through, and then while you're kind of they give you like a separate room. I think they had a set up in
Yeah.
like a different
I think
dining
the
area.
restaurant was actually closed.
Or at least part of it was
Part of it was
closed.
closed
Yeah.
off.
Because wherever we were sitting, like,
No one
there was no
else.
random, like,
Yeah.
normal park guests. It was just
Mhm.
everybody who was in the tour. So that was kinda neat
Yeah.
to see. Um, but yeah, so you're kind of in this situation where you're having to eat quickly, and then, yeah, like you said, your feet are sore, you're feeling a little exhausted. But again, just having that thirst for knowledge for the Disney fan, the
Mhm.
fan,
Yeah.
okay? It is still a great experience,
Oh, and
but I
let's
was exhausted.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
every part of my body was hurting,
Yeah.
like, absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's go back to Main Street real quick because we
Yeah.
forgot to talk about the secret hotel room. So she was telling us about in the castle
Mhm.
is the hotel room that you can't pay for. Aren't you
Yeah.
you're selected to stay there,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So no matter how much money you have, I guess I'm sure there's somebody who could pay their way into the hotel room, but they usually like will select a family and
Yeah.
offer it to them
Mhm.
to see if they want to stay there, which I didn't even know there was a room. But she pointed out the window that is in the castle that I think it's like right in the middle or something, so they
Yeah.
can see over everything, which was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, so after lunch, I think that's when we went downstairs. Now, one thing I never knew, which I thought was interesting, was that the park is on the second floor. And when you're actually in the quote unquote back, you actually can look up to the park,
Mhm.
which was weird. Like when we were outside where the bus lots and everything, you look up and you see the floor of the park.
Mhm.
So that was pretty interesting knowing that you're actually up when you think you're just on floor ground level. Mm. So we go in the back. I remember after lunch we walked through the Adventureland or whatever it's called, Frontierland,
Mhm.
and towards the back right near like the bathrooms is the secret entrance to the
Mhm.
backyard. So if you ever want to sneak into the backyard, go to Frontierland and walk to the back right near the restrooms, and there's a gate. Excuse me. So we walked back there, and then we saw the people, the ice skaters practicing, I think was when we
Mhm.
saw them. One of the cool things back there was the parking lot of all the floats and all the like
Mm,
holiday vehicles was really cool. So we got
yeah.
to see the Maleficent dragon like
Mhm.
parked out there. We got to see, I guess, Mickey's Christmas sleigh,
Yeah.
and just any vehicle that ever rides through the park is parked back there. And so there's like a maintenance crew back there working on them. And we got to take a little sneak peeks of stuff. And there was even some unreleased floats that they were
Yeah.
building back there, which I thought was interesting. Um,
And then in one part you get to see the electrical parade, the water parade, whatever it's called,
mm.
the one that goes on Seven Seas Lagoon.
Oh
Um
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you get to see those floats. But fun fact, you actually get to see those anyway. If you take the monorail into the Magic Kingdom, if you look out the window on the left-hand side right before the
Contemporary.
no, on the other side. So if you're going through Grand
Oh
Floridian,
yeah,
and then as soon as you kind of leave the Grand Floridian area and
mm,
right before you get to the Magic Kingdom stop,
right.
then if you look out your left side window, you'll see the water pageant
Yes.
parade
So if you ever look out
lights.
there and you see those boats parked, that we were standing exactly right there
Yeah.
on this tour. So if you ever look out and you see a group of people over there, that's this tour.
Yeah.
So after that, then we go inside. We
Hmm.
go inside, outside, downstairs.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Did we also do um the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? Because I do remember, weren't we talking
Yeah.
about how big the like whole ride
Oh yeah, because it's like
is?
a room and they had to move some stuff or something and like
Yeah,
yeah, so yeah, we did go through the Pirates of the Caribbean. Didn't we go in from the back though? I feel like we didn't go in normally.
something.
We didn't go in through the actual queue.
Yeah, I feel like we went through a
When
different
yeah.
because yeah, and they also when you're in the backstage areas, they have like some rules. Like you're not
Mhm.
supposed to actually talk to any of the cast members. If there's any characters back there, you're not supposed to like talk to them or anything. But everybody was very nice and
Yes.
everybody was professional. So
You
I
could
think
tell who was at the end of their shift though. You could definitely see
yeah.
the people who were fresh and just clocked in
Mhm.
and the people who had been smiling all day and were getting ready to go home and have a cold one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But I mean, I guess it's like any job. I
Yeah.
mean, we're in there break room, so to
Right.
speak.
Basically, yeah. So we did. I do remember we were outside backstage and we went through like the back of the Pirates of the Caribbean door.
Mhm.
I think we went through the emergency exit door
Something
and
like
then we
that.
walked around. We did that ride. That is right. After that, when we went downstairs and we got to see the original animation equipment that
Mhm.
they made all the original movies for. So we got to look at all those things, which was pretty cool, like the machines they
And we
use for
just
that.
looked at it
Through
through
the
the
door.
glass.
Like you're not
Yeah,
even allowed in the room.
right.
It's like a lockdown room, but
Yeah,
you still get to see the original equipment that was used for the first animations that Disney ever did as a company.
yeah.
Yeah.
And of note, when you're in the utilidors, like the signs that they say, it's like Frontierland entrance or Fantasyland entrance.
Hmm.
And so seeing those different signs,
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely it's a maze down there. You
It
kind of
is.
have to know your way
Yeah.
around. Like for an average person, you wouldn't be able to find anything cool down
And
there.
the other thing though is a lot of it is like on a grade, like you're going down still while you're
Mhm.
down there. So you're still going down. Part of it is has to be underground as well, just how
Yeah.
big it is and all that stuff. And they have special cars down there to get you
Mhm.
around to places, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that. We got to see the utilidors, which is what is the point of the utilidors?
So it's mainly a transportation system for the characters and for cleaning supplies, trash, anything that would make the park look ugly. So, something that Walt Disney felt very strongly about is that he never wanted to see a princess walking through Tomorrowland, or he didn't want to see a cowboy popping up through Fantasyland because that's going to take the viewer, the audience, or again, the park goer out of the entire experience. And you want to be in the magic while you're in a Disney theme park.
Right.
So It is very smart, and it's creative how they did that. I
Mm.
will also say that the, rumor that there's, like, these giant chutes in the bottom of the trash cans that, like, suck the trash out, that is false, okay?
I also asked the tour guide about Disney jail, and she said that that wasn't real.
I think Disney Jail is
She
real.
said it wasn't. She
Uh,
said, I've never seen Disney jail. I've never heard of Disney jail.
yeah.
It's just a rumor, but I think it's real.
No, I think it's a there's, like, a room down there, but it's
Hmm.
not, like, a real jail. It's just,
Yeah.
like
Just a cool out, a
yeah.
sober tank. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
talk to the person,
Yeah.
you know? It's not a place I'd ever wanna go to.
No.
I don't wanna be banned for life. But yeah, so seeing that perspective of it. So you're kind of seeing like janitors walking through there.
Hmm.
And then, like I said, we're right under the castle, and Cinderella was about to go out and do some sort of performance. So you see her like walking up the
Right.
stairs to get onto stage again.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm
Yeah. So then I think the last thing we did when we left, we went through the downstairs, the back
mhm,
door or backstage rather, and then we went back outside, and then she showed us Tinkerbell's zip
yeah.
line,
Mhm.
which was pretty cool. And she was telling us about how it's not a soft landing for
No.
Tinkerbell. She kind of slams into the side of like a padded wall. So anytime you're watching the fireworks or whatever the show is at Tinkerbell's there, when she's at the top of the castle, she's harnessed in and they kind of just throw her off and she gracefully slides down. But the last 2 seconds that you don't see of her is her slamming full force into this pad because they don't have a way to slow her down, I guess. So she slams into this pad, and then there's like a minder up there who helps her unhook and get her down off the stage. So anytime you see a Tinkerbell, thank them for their service. They're definitely stronger than you would think because you
They're being catapulted at a castle.
and just
And
slams into a wall.
I know. They also didn't they talk about what, like, 1 or 2 times Tinkerbell got,
Got
like
stuck.
yeah,
Yeah,
stuck, and then there's, like, a whole, like, process on if Tinkerbell gets stuck, then how to save
yeah,
her,
yeah.
and this whole thing, like
It was pretty funny.
yeah, that was kind of hilarious.
Hmm.
Oh, and then yeah, the other thing, so we had, like, a younger kid who was, I guess, over 16,
Hmm.
but it definitely felt weird, like, spoiling the magic, and
Yeah.
something that I thought that our cast, member did very well as a tour guide is that if she was saying something that would kind of take a young person out of the magic of Disney World,
Hmm.
then she would whisper or she would wait for
Yeah.
them to leave, and I think that that's
That
really
was pretty
sweet
nice, yeah.
because after doing this, it does change your mindset on the park.
Mhm.
Now, whether you're an adult or a kid or just a kid at heart, I do think that you walk into this world of fantasy and wonder and you are kind of taken out of the reality.
Yeah.
So, after going on this tour, it's definitely changed my mind of like,
Mhm.
all the work that goes into it and all the behind the scenes stuff and,
Right.
it's definitely
I would definitely say it did give me an appreciation for what goes on. Like for example, so I used to work for Marriott. We used to be at the headquarters and seeing learning what the day-to-day of just keeping a room running does tell you a lot, like what goes on, and just bringing that to a grand scale of what goes on in Disney and how seamless everything needs to be for the kids to not even realize, there could be a disaster happening on the other end of the park and you would never know just because of the utilidors. Like if they need to get somebody out of the park, a full car can drive through the bottom of Disney
yeah.
and pick somebody up and get them out. So that is pretty cool. And then the fact,
And you don't see that at other parks. Like,
yeah,
we were recently at, like, a Six Flags, and there,
yeah, it's
there's
Six Flags.
there's no magic
No,
there because,
no.
you're seeing the trash, you're
Hmm.
seeing the actors, moving through the park even when they're not,
Right. And
on
even the janitors, like, they don't look like janitors. They
yeah,
look like the cartoon equivalent of a janitor in like a positive way. Like they look clean and put together, fully pressed outfits, and
yeah.
they. I don't. I know there's trash in Disney, but I don't think I've ever seen a trash bag. Like I've never seen
Mhm.
somebody carrying a trash bag at
Yeah.
Disney. So just the logistics of it, it gave me more of an appreciation for what goes through or what like the park goes through on a daily basis.
Right. Well, and then, that's what sets Disney aside,
Hmm.
right? I mean, if you go to King's Dominion or a Six Flags, not so much Universal, but if you go to one of those more standard theme parks
Hmm.
across the US or in other countries, then you're not really getting the same product. So there is a reason why
Yeah.
Disney is kind of you're paying extra for the
Right.
experience. And I do think that there's something to be said about that,
Hmm.
especially in today's day and age with
Yeah.
there's so many
Yeah.
options.
And kind of unrelated, but also I think we were there for one of the after hours events, and there's like a whole nother crew that comes in just for after hours just to
Yeah.
refresh the park. So all that is pretty cool and pretty interesting. So yeah, for you, the Disney Insider, give us a rating. 100 greatest adventures. Where do you put it?
Okay, so first, before I do that, I want to talk about a financial rating, okay?
Oh no.
So uh,
Okay, yeah. So you
it's
said this is separate price, right?
it's
So
a
what is a
separate.
day price? A day pass?
So it is $129 per ticket on top of your like park admissions
Right.
ticket,
Jeez.
meaning that you'd be paying upwards about $375 or $400 per a person
Right.
to do, and this is also taking up 5 hours of your park day. So
And
normally Magic Kingdom is open from about 8 a.m. to midnight,
mhm,
roughly, give or take a couple of hours.
yeah,
And so you're taking out 5 hours of your day in order to
yeah.
complete this tour.
And after you're done the tour, you don't want to be in the park. You're done. You want to go home and relax. So
Yeah.
you're paying what, $400,
Yeah.
300, $400 to take a 5 hour tour and go home. So definitely, I would say me, I'm not paying that money. It was a good once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
It's never a second in a lifetime experience for me. I saw what I needed to see. I experienced it. Would I have gone by myself? Absolutely not. Now, I would say I didn't even know this was a tour. I didn't even know this was an option. So I probably would never have gone by myself because I wouldn't even know. But for me, the non Disney fan, I don't think it was worth it.
Mhm.
It was definitely interesting. And I did have fun. I did enjoy it. But this tour is definitely for somebody who is diehard Disney, who wants to know the secrets, like the names in the windows and the secret hotel rooms, and see the back of a waterfall and be in like the backstage. And I appreciated it. I definitely appreciated it. And then get stuck on. We got stuck on a haunted castle. I think
Haunted Mansion?
Haunted Mansion. We got
Mhm.
stuck in that ride when that song kind of grates on you.
Yeah.
But would I, as a non Disney fan, go on that tour by myself? No. If I didn't have my wife there with me, I would have never gone on that tour. But that said, I am happy that I did go on that tour because I did get to learn some things. It gave me more of an appreciation. So if my Disney love meter was at 0, it moved me maybe to like a 5. Just seeing everything that went on, everything. I'd say higher than a 5, but you know, it gave me more of an appreciation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a Disney fan, Disney adult, Disney historian lover,
Hmm.
I it was 100% worth it. It was worth every penny. I'm so glad that I did it.
Hmm.
Um Would I do it again? Probably not,
Hmm.
unless if something were to change,
Yeah.
like if the tour changed itself.
Right.
And I think that there's some slight variances from tour group to tour group, just
Hmm.
depending on probably like lines or who your tour
Your
guide
tour
is.
guide. Yeah.
Our tour guide was very, very
Hmm.
knowledgeable. She had been doing this for a while. She was very professional. She was very open to answering any
Right.
questions. She was patient. Everything that you would want in a Disney cast member
Yeah.
is what we had.
Yeah.
So we were very lucky.
Yeah.
Um, but with all that being said, it is a lot. It's a long day.
Hmm.
And yeah, the amount of standing, I think if I were to do it all again, I probably would have worn like athleisure
Yeah.
wear and maybe like a more appropriate
I
shoe.
felt bad for you because you looked really like you looked great,
Yeah,
and I could tell that you made sacrifices for fashion. You definitely
100%.
weren't as comfortable as you could have been. I was in like cargo pants and a nice hiking shoe and a t-shirt, and you were in this like ball gown.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. With all that was my mistake,
Yeah.
I guess I even though I knew it was 5 hours of walking, I didn't know like the standing,
Right.
that's what gets you,
Yeah.
right? And then just being in the hot Florida sun.
Mhm.
So, I did a behind the scenes tour in California,
Mhm.
at Disneyland, and that one was a more simplified version. It
Okay.
was like only an hour and a half or
Oh,
something like that. Um,
so this is
but
the better version.
oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
with all that being said, I definitely feel as though 100 Disney Adventures of a Lifetime,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Right.
This is if you are a Disney fan, if you love the history of the Disney parks and you want to know all the details about what you're seeing at Magic Kingdom, which is the most beloved theme park in the world, absolutely, you should do
Mhm.
this. If you have the time and the finances for it, you should do
Yeah.
this. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely I
I would
would
say a
agree.
9 out of
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, I would if I'm gonna rate it, I'll give it two separate ratings. One as a non-Disney fan who
Mhm,
didn't care and going in, but at the end got more appreciation. I would say it was like a 6 just because I
mhm.
was in pain.
Right.
But for the knowledge aspect, I would definitely give it a higher, like a 9. I would say a 10 out of 10 for knowledge, like
Yeah.
the experience of it, learning the different things, learning more about Disney, the man himself, and like the little things that he wanted to be done, like how far apart trash cans need to be, or
Right.
how whatever the little things that he made sure was injected into it, and like the
Yeah.
go away green
Yeah.
and the different forced perspectives and all that stuff was pretty interesting to
Mhm.
see, just like the psychological how they operate the park. So
Yeah.
I would say definitely give it a high 10,
Yeah.
9 to 10 score myself.
And I would say that the only reason why it does not score a perfect 10 for me is kind of based around the lunch aspect of it,
Mm,
and only because
yeah, they
it
could do
is
more.
nice. It's nice that they're providing lunch. I wish that it was maybe a little bit nicer and maybe a better quality food, perhaps in a like behind the scenes area of the park
Isn't
where
there like like a princess cafe in like the castle? Isn't there like something like that?
well, there's Be Our Guest, but that's
Where is
oh,
that?
there's also you're right, Cinderella's Royal
Yeah,
Table.
I feel like they should have done it there. They should have
Oh,
had lunch in some like
it's not big enough, I don't think.
I don't know. I think
No, I think it should have been, like, behind the scene like, off stage somewhere, but in an area where there's, like, air conditioning, maybe, like, some couches, like,
somewhere you can
maybe
relax.
yeah, like,
Where
a place a
was
little bit nicer.
was it in Epcot when we were doing like the drinking around the world thing?
Yes,
There was like a
Epcot.
Moroccan,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah, we
like
love
a
that
a
place.
nice lounge
Yeah.
area. I definitely think they could have done. Now, does Epcot have a tour, or is it just the Disneyland's World,
I think that
whatever?
there is some tours there, but
This is the tour.
this is, like, the number 1.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say definitely say good tour,
Yeah.
painful tour, dress appropriately,
Yes.
plan accordingly,
Yeah.
check your weather.
Yeah.
Go when it's as cool as you can manage being outside in, because you'll be
Yes.
outside, you will be walking, you
Mhm.
will be hiking, you will
Yeah.
get blisters. I got some blisters on my feet. And then the day after is definitely a rest day
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, don't, like, double book. Don't do a
No,
park to park or
no.
something like that because this is, like, an Olympic event,
Hmm.
but at Disney.
Yes.
So but yeah, besides that, I think that you
Yeah.
should go check it out. Have you done this tour? Do you have any wants of doing this tour? Have you heard of it before?
Hmm.
Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pleasure talking about this harrowing experience with you.
Until next time.
Goodbye.